All right, so the Packers just decided to take a QB in the 5th round in Penn State's QB, Sean Clifford. And this is something I expected would happen, not taking QB Sean Clifford, but taking a QB at some point in this draft. And we talked about it on the channel the past couple months, that the Packers, if we look back to 2008 when Aaron Rodgers took over, even though they still had Rodgers on the roster, they used their 2nd-round pick on Brian Braum and their 7th-round pick on quarterback Matt Flynn. And so I expected at some point Brian Gutekunst would come in and select a quarterback, and it looks like the Packers must like quarterback Sean Clifford from Penn State. There were a good amount of other, I'd say, quarterbacks who other people had higher than Sean Clifford. There's already been a good amount of quarterbacks off the board throughout this draft. But I think when you look at the Packers, only having QB Danny Etling outside of Jordan Love on this roster, Brian Gutekunst mentioned recently he wants to have 3 QBs on this roster by the time, offseason workouts and, throwing drills occur. They need a 3rd QB. And so they decided to come in and draft a guy who has a good amount of experience, played for Penn State for 4 different years starting, was a redshirt freshman in 2017, didn't play much in 2018. So he basically spent 6 years with Penn State, 4 of which he started and 4 of which he was a captain. So it seems like he's a pretty solid leader overall. One issue I saw when I was looking up some information on him, according to PFF, he was in the 3rd percentile when it came to grade under pressure in the last 2 years. So it seems like he's struggled under pressure, which is, I guess, a concern. But at the same time, if you look at his athletic ability, he seems very athletic. If we take a look at his measurables, he is 6'2", 211 pounds, and he runs a 4.6240. And if you check out his highlights, you can see that he has that escapability. He has the ability to, when the pocket breaks down, to escape the pocket, to pick up yardage. He seems like a pretty, solid athlete, pretty dangerous runner. And they also used him when it came to read options and things like that. So he seems pretty physical, pretty tough. And for the Packers who do need another quarterback, it makes sense that they, got a guy at some point. I want to read Dane Brugler's summary of him in his draft guide for The Athletic. He said this: Sean Clifford, who has a younger brother, Liam, on the Penn State roster, was a 3-year starter at St. Xavier High School and led the Bombers to the Division I state championship in 2016. A 4-star recruit, he committed to Penn State over several SEC offers and became the Nittany Lions' all-time leader in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and completion percentage. Clifford was the first player in his high school's history to be a 2-time captain and was only the 2nd 4-time captain in Penn State history. He was effective in a college RPO-based system, and his willingness to hang tough in the pocket or utilize his mobility helped keep drives alive. However, he needs to get through his progression quicker and make things easier on his receivers to finish catches. Overall, Clifford throws well on the move, and NFL teams love his toughness and smarts, but his current decision-making and ball placement are too inconsistent for what is required at the next level. So because he's drafted in the 5th round, there's no doubt there's probably some concerns there with his, where he's at right now. But I think when we look at the Packers, they still have, QB coach Tom Clements, who came back last year to help Jordan Love to be the Packers QB coach. And so with Jordan Love taking over in 2023, the Packers could take time to help Sean Clifford develop and potentially, become a solid backup for the Packers. And in the off scenario, or the unfortunate scenario that Jordan Love doesn't become as good as I think he can be, the Packers do have another QB on this roster that they can, work on and develop in 2023 and sort of see maybe there's some untapped potential there, and maybe he can develop into a somewhat productive player. We'll see. So most likely right now, looks like the Packers backup QB, and we'll see sort of how things go moving forward. But that's all I have for this video. If you want to stay up to date with all Packers news, feel free to subscribe to the channel down below. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.